I know a lot of y'all don't think that y'all know what's going on, but let me tell you, there is a lot going on. We live in this bubble, and we live in these spaces where we're largely removed from what's happening out here in the streets. But let me just tell you, the streets is treacherous. And it's a lot happening. Let me bring you up to speed.
First on Fox, the Lukeville port of entry in Arizona is now officially closed. U.S. border officials pausing operations due to the rise in the number of migrants showing up at the U.S.-Mexico border.
Most of them are walking into the U.S. through gaps in the wall and surrendering at official border crossings to seek asylum.
Reading super chat shortly.
Say the desert crossing has become a major migration route in recent months, where smugglers are just even sometimes cutting a hole in that wall with a saw and letting the migrants go through.
So with the closure there, people heading into Mexico are trying to get back into Arizona. They've got two other options, but that would involve a long drive, either choice. The Mariposa port of entry in Nogales to the east, that's more than 200 miles away, or the San Luis port of entry south of Yuma, that's 216 miles from Lukeville.
It's a long journey. Agents who would be working at the port are being redirected now to help with the influx of migrants.
Fox 10's Justin Lum is live at the border wall in Lukeville, where around 1,000 migrants are currently in line.
Look at that mess. Look at what's happening over there in Arizona, y'all. Look what's behind Justin Lum as he goes down there to Lukeville down in Arizona to document what is happening out here in our streets. Look, man, I know that we say that it's mismanagement in the cities with Eric Adams and over in Chicago and all of that stuff. But at what point do we actually lay this at the feet of our president of the United States of America? Before he even report on it, look what your streets are looking like as a result of what's happening at the border. At what point do y'all then lay this at the feet of the person that is supposed to be at the head of the United States of the Americas? This is crazy.
And look.
Somebody said it looked like Skid Row. Skid Row don't look that bad. Skid Row don't look that bad. Trust me, it's a video of me walking down Skid Row. And me and Rita was just walking down Skid Row, and we was over in LA, and that was the first time that I did the Patreon meetup, and we went out to the streets and we was seeing what the people was living like and all of that stuff. Skid Row did not look that bad. Real talk.
At the trash behind you. Unbelievable.
John, Christina, we've talked to migrants from different countries. They basically been living here and waiting for days to try and get to the next step and be transported to the collections center, if you will. And just take a look behind me. Yes, you can see the trash here left behind, and what looks like basically the length of a football field, sections of lines going down the border wall. Our photojournalist Mark Johnson giving you a look at that. I spoke to Customs and Border Protection as we arrived today. Basically, once these migrants are transported and taken into custody, the next step is processing at either the Ajo or Yuma stations before heading to Tucson, and by plane or bus sent to another sector to be detained to seek asylum. Now, encounters here at the Tucson sector have gone up 140% in the fiscal year of 2024 compared to last year, and we've seen much more single adults here, many of them men waiting in line, vulnerable people being the families of.
We don't even know who these people are. We don't even know anything about. Listen, did you realize that it's not even illegal to cross the border? Now they're just called migrants that are seeking asylum. Somebody said, Anton, you won't walk down Skid Row today. Okay, so is Skid Row much different today than it was last year or earlier this year? Is Skid Row that much different today than it was in yesteryear?
Women and children took priority here, and they are been now taken away about a couple of hours ago. We saw them. And earlier I spoke with a man named Emmanuel from Nigeria who has been here for 3 days or so, telling me he traveled through 11 countries to get to this point. Take a listen.
I don't know, man. I don't know if I'll survive this night again. It's so cold and there's no food. There's no water. Like the water, you have to wait until you get this. There's like, if you're like shelter, maybe tent and food, like some humanitarian government here pass some apples out, it help. Like, there's no, you don't understand, like staying out 4 days, 5 days without food, without water.
Back out here live, you've seen the trash here. This has basically become a campsite for these migrants who have been collecting firewood because it does get so cold at night. They've been sharing crackers, granola bars, and snacks, things like that. Also cheering when the line gets closer to the front so they can move on to the next step of processing. Now, Governor Katie Hobbs did speak to the press earlier today, and specifically about the Lukeville port of entry. She said that she would not be sending any state resources here and that the federal government needed to step up and address the border crisis. John, Christina?
Don't y'all realize that Biden is not coming to save y'all?
Growing crisis at the border with the influx of migrants trying to get into the U.S. has now forced the closure of a major border crossing in southern Arizona.
Yeah, we're seeing record numbers of people coming across. This is an election year. We are a purple state, and you would think something will be done, but that's not happening.
What's a purple state? What's a purple state? I'm just curious. What the hell is a purple state? I'll look it up.
The opposite is happening. The Lukeville port of entry is now shut down because of this surge of immigrants. So if you're trying to get to Rocky Point, Daniel Miller, it got a whole lot longer to get there and a little bit more.
Okay, so it's a state where it's basically it can go either way. It can go Democrat or it can go Republican. All right, I got you.
Involved.
Yes, that is absolutely right. I want to turn the camera around really quick. So this is about 200 migrants who crossed illegally here into the state. They have been waiting here all morning, and they just announced over the loudspeaker that this port of entry is closed. The operations are closed. So they just opened the gate, and that is what is happening out here at this port of entry. So as far as vehicles, anybody crossing in or out of the state, that is not allowed. All of this started early this morning. It was put out by the CBP Office of Field Operations. They were saying that it will temporarily suspend operations here in Lukeville, Arizona, in order to redirect personnel to assist the U.S. Border Patrol with taking migrants into custody. Both northbound and southbound pedestrian and vehicle traffic at Lukeville Port of Entry will be suspended until further notice.
So y'all just go ahead and walk? That's what we doing? Hoppo, who are these people? Who are these people? Hoppo, who are these people? Do you know the level of security that you have to go through when you go into a completely different country? Even if I fly in, they go in, they check your passport, they ask you why you there, the whole 9 yards. It's much more difficult for me to fly from as an American over into a completely different country than for them to just walk over here. What the heck is going on in this city? In this country?
So as far as people coming here from the state of Arizona trying to cross over into Mexico, we have been here all morning long. We have not seen anybody. So it definitely seems that people are taking the word This was announced just on Friday, so people had the weekend
Who
to
are all
kind
of these men?
rearrange their travel plans if that was so necessary. So there is just one gas station right here, and it is completely closed down as well. It says until further notice. That is because it is closed here in this area. We do know that there is just about 30 miles away is the nearest kind of town, as well as another gas station. So everybody is definitely taking that warning. It is pretty desolate out here. There is really nothing in this vicinity. Not a lot of people trying to come to this area. But yeah, the only thing that we have seen so far, there were about 200 people here, according to a Border Patrol agent. We also saw 2 buses pull up. They were filled completely with the migrants waiting to cross over here, and those buses are now gone. The Border Patrol agent was telling me that they are processed right here, and then they are taken to other parts of our state. So as far as those people who the gate just opened right there, I am not sure exactly where they will be going, because I know all the other people were waiting to be processed. They were processed and put on those buses. So not 100%. I am trying to talk to Border Patrol out here. A lot of these agents continue to say they just can't give me any information. They cannot talk to me. So trying to get more answers as to exactly what's happening.
Can you guys walk over there?
I am not sure, Troy. I have no. Yeah. I'm trying to.
Are they boarding? Are they boarding a bus, or are they walking into a building? Is there another building back there?
No, there's no building. Nope, that is just plain barren desert. There was just that one massive bus. There was also 2 smaller vans that pulled up. They did take people.
What is happening in the United States of America? Well, this is crazy. I have never seen no junk like this before in my entire life. What is happening? You ain't got to worry about no terrorist attack or none of that, because ain't nobody got don't nobody care. Nobody is doing nothing. Nobody is doing nothing. People literally just walking in, and that's just the end of the conversation. Border Patrol just sitting there. Ain't no dogs doing nothing. Ain't nothing happening. The news reporter don't even know where they going. Buses pull up, drop them off. They just come in and do whatever it is that they want to do, and they go and walk whatever they want to walk. This is wild. This is... Yo, if you live in Texas, Arizona, any of these places, if you are not absolutely appalled at this, if y'all are sitting there calling yourselves a purple state, blue, anything like that, this is crazy. I have never seen nothing like this in my life. I want to take a trip down to Arizona just to see what's happening. I'm about to become an investigative journalist and reporter.
People away. As far as where these people are going, I am not sure. I see 2 Border Patrol agents, the police department right behind them. I can try to talk to them, but yeah, I mean, people around here, the Border Patrol agents are pretty tight-lipped. Yeah, they will not talk to us.
Into the desert, does it not?
Well,
so we don't have a right to know what's going on?
Yeah, according to a couple people out here, there is a part of the wall over there that the cartel has punctured some holes in there, and there's a huge migrant crossing right down the street. So I think a lot of people are coming in from that port.
But they do the same thing. They can walk right across the port of entry like this and surrender, which is what I would assume these people just did. It looks like it's almost exclusively young men. I didn't see any families, or did you see any women in there?
On the one bus, that was a pretty large bus, there was 2 women. Everybody else was men. I have not seen any type of children. There were the children
don't need no more hard legs inside of the United States of the
Americas. There were school buses that do pick them up and take them into the state here, into nearby schools. So those were the only children that I have seen so far. But when we arrived here at about 6:30 or so, the Border Patrol agent told me that there was about 200 people waiting. And then some of those people got processed. And just as we were about to go live for this live shot here, over the loudspeaker, they said this port of entry is now closed. And that's when that gate opened, and off those people went. So,
Jesus Christ. Y'all not scared? Y'all not concerned? Seriously? This don't bother y'all? Y'all don't take this into consideration? When y'all voting, or this not meaningful to y'all? The only thing we care about is what Cardi and them saying and stuff like that? That's scary. Seriously, that is like literally scary.